Joe Rogan explains why he actually doesn't like the idea of having a UFC event at the White House.
The White House thing is odd. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of fighting outside at all.
Well, there's problems with it.
And then
done it too many
it's
times.
June,
Yeah.
and it's DC, and we looked it up. The last time, like last year, same day, it was 100 degrees.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
Yeah.
hot as
You add
oh,
the
yeah.
lights.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the lights.
You add the lights.
Yeah,
that attracts bugs.
They were talking about maybe using fans. Is that enough?
No, it's not
You got
enough.
bug strips everywhere? What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to stop the bugs? I just don't think that you should compete in a world championship fight in a non-controlled environment.
Yeah.
I think it should be inside an air-conditioned arena. It should be a controlled environment, just like you don't ask someone to do any of that. You wouldn't ask them to play a world championship basketball game outside in the sun.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? You play in a air-conditioned arena, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, but I understand the whole thing, and
I get it
it's
too,
special.
but listen,
But it's going to be a pain in the butt.
A roof.
Yeah.
Build a roof. Like, you've got all the money in the world, right? You're doing this. You want to do this for
It's not
America?
my money.
It's 4,000
Yeah.
seats. You build a 4,000 seat arena. How big is that? Get a barn dominium. Put it in there.
Despite their bad blood, Ilia Topuria actually included Conor McGregor in his UFC Mount Rushmore.
Ilia Topuria. I grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap that little nose off him, yeah? Little ding-dong of a thing he is, yeah?
Greatest of all time. John Jones.
1.
George St. Pierre.
St. Pierre, GSP.
Conor McGregor. Anderson Silva.
Silva.
Anderson
A
Silva.
lot of people put Silva up there.
Anderson Silva.
A lot of people put Silva up there.
That's easy.
Colby Covington appeared on the Ariel Helwani show yesterday and discussed his departure from the UFC. Colby appears to have no bad blood with the UFC and revealed that the next step in his career is competing full-time in Real American Freestyle Wrestling. Colby is set to wrestle Chris Weidman this weekend at RAF 9.
Colby, we got news like a week or so ago that you had retired from the UFC and were no longer in the promotion. Tell us your side of the story. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I had a good meeting with Hunter, and we just talked about the future, and we talked about everything that's been done and all the business we've done, and it was a productive meeting. And I just said that, I'm very thankful for everything that, the UFC has allowed me to be able to do in my life and all the blessings that I've received from them. But this is the next step in my combat sports career is to join wrestling full time. My first true love and passion. I started wrestling when I was in diapers and I was a little kid, and it was family business, to go into the wrestling world. So now I can get back to, doing what I love the most, which is wrestling. This is my first love. So it's amazing, what Chad Bronstein's done with Real American Freestyle. And, this was just the proverbial red tape that needed to be done to be able to clear up the biggest and best matches in RAF. So there's no limitations to who I can wrestle. I want to wrestle everybody. I want to wrestle, Armin. I want to wrestle Shot. I want to wrestle Marty Usman. We have unfinished business. We need to finish this trilogy. I want to wrestle all these UFC guys, but I can't get too ahead of myself. This weekend I have a tough competitor in front of me with Chris Weidman. It was just a formality, and Hunter blessed me. He gave me his blessing, and it's all good. I didn't need, this is my life retirement package. Look at me and look what I did. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I didn't need that. Me and Hunter, we had a great meeting in Miami, and, he was in town for the Miami show, and we just started talking about everything. And, I just told him that I wanted all these big matchups freed up for me in Real American Freestyle. I was going back and forth with Chad, and, I didn't want anything to hold me up and get into big matchups in RAF with all the active UFC fighters. So, it's just kind of what had to be done. I wasn't let go, Ariel. I'm still a UFC fighter. I'll always be a UFC fighter. If I come back to fight again, it will be in the UFC.
Ilia Topuria reveals the reason why he chooses not to wrestle in his fights.
Well, Justin also has a pretty good background. He did wrestle a lot. Do you think that fight even goes to the ground at all?
No, No, I don't think so, because if I want it, of course I take him down and I do with him whatever I want to do. But I really want to give to the fans the show, the entertaining part, because I could, with Max also, I could take him down, control him in the ground and submit him in the ground, but it wouldn't be as excited as it was. So this is the same thing that I'm planning to do with Justin. It's going to be a pure striking fight, at least from my side. If he's gonna try to take me down, then we have different plans for that also. But anyways, I'm gonna end up knocking him out.
Dustin Poirier shared his thoughts on the upcoming rematch between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway at UFC 329. Poirier said he expects Conor to look better than Nate Diaz did in his recent loss to Mike Perry. Dustin also believes that if Conor comes back with solid timing, he could create some real problems for Max in the fight.
Do you expect Conor now, after all these years off and the injury after the leg and all that, to look similar to like how Nate did, or is this something are we going to see a revised Conor McGregor?
Yeah, I don't think Conor's gonna look as bad as Nate, bro. That was really bad. The thing that I think the punching power is gonna be there regardless. Conor's gonna come back from the injury and still have that natural punching power. What the question for me is the timing, the athleticism, the movement, all those questions need to be answered. I don't know. We haven't seen him, so I don't know if his counter punching and his timing is anywhere near what it was. He has a chance to beat Max. Yeah. Look, I love Max, but the career he's had and the longevity he's had, he's touched the canvas in his last 3 fights more. That's more than he's touched in his entire career. I just think time's catching up with him. He's still a young man, but he's taking a lot of shots, and Conor can punch, man. Like no matter how long he's been out, he still has the great equalizer, and that's power. Some guys are born with it.
Carlos Prates appeared on the Pound for Pound podcast today and kicked things off by lighting up a cigarette on the show. Prates made it clear that he has no interest in fighting Michael Morales next, saying he plans to wait for a welterweight title shot instead.
Lighting up as we speak.
Lighting up as we speak. A man that's hot off of back-to-back finishes of former champions in the welterweight division. A guy that I know and I like very well. Besides myself, Mr. Carlos Prates.
Thank you, guys.
Do next.
Wait. Or ask to fight some former champ, or ask somebody to fight somebody, on the ranks. I don't know. But if and Makhachev happen in August, I'm gonna fight the winner. No, I don't need to fight somebody and then go to the belt. But let's see, Makhachev don't fight too much. Sometimes got injuries or things like that. But I'm really confident that fight gonna happen in August, 15 August in Philadelphia.
This week we interviewed Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy named 3 components that welterweight contenders need to beat Islam Makhachev. Check out our full interview with Wonderboy on our second channel. Links in the description.
If you were coaching somebody to beat Islam, what are the keys that somebody would need to do, whether they be a striker, wrestler, like style aside for a second?
Well, for number one, Islam he's the type of guy to make a fight very, very, very grueling to his opponent, right?
Yeah.
Guys like Islam, guys like Khabib, they try to break your spirit. They break you physically, mentally, and emotionally out there, right? It gets to the point where when you see guys fight them, halfway through the fight, these guys are looking for a way out. They're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not saying they're doing this, but it almost looks like they just turn their back just to get choked out and get out of there, right? Because they all do that. For a coach, their cardio, they have to be mentally, physically, emotionally ready for the most grueling fight ever and have the cardio. It's going to be ugly, but you got to have the ability and the cardio and the strong spirit to be able to keep going and get back up to your feet. Correct?
Yeah.
They're going to make it very, very difficult for you to do that. Kind of like what Strickland did against Khamzat. Okay, he knew it was going to be a grueling fight. He knew the first 2-3 rounds were going to be very, very tough. But as long as he got back up to his feet, he had a chance. You have a chance to beat him. And I think that's what Strickland did against Khamzat. He was very hard to hold down. He got back up to his feet. His cardio was great. Because when you take somebody down, you make it very difficult for them, they tire out as well. They get very exhausted doing it. So that's number one. Like I would put them through like a grueling camp to make sure their cardio is at its peak before even taking the fight. You got to be able to be there at that level. Yeah. Two, you got to be very hard to hit, very hard to nail down in one spot. If you stand there long enough, they're going to get to your legs. If you stand in a spot long enough, they're going to hem you up against the fence and make it difficult for you. So I would definitely make it very hard. Have whoever I'm coaching have great movement, right? They got to be constantly be ready to reset their Islam Makhachev. Yeah. Two, it's going to be their last line of defense is going to be their knees and their elbows, that close range striking to make them pay to try to get on the inside. And I think Carlos Prates is very good at that with his elbows and his knees. Guys that try to close the gap on him, he's got very sneaky knees, and it makes guys not want to close the gap because they don't know when the knee's coming or when those elbows are coming. So I think all of those guys at that top level have all three of those. They got great movement. Their inside clinch work, their close range battle tactics are very good with knees, elbows, takedown defense is very good. And they all have great cardio, right? So I think all three of those guys will be great to coach against, especially against somebody like Islam.
Islam Makhachev gives his prediction for Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. The two are set to fight on June 14th at the White House.
Главное событие в White House, думаю, конечно, Gaethje тоже не списывай со счетов. Старый, сбитый летчик с большим опытом. Но Topuria более молодой. Будет хороший бой для фанатов. Я считаю, что этот бой точно не пройдет всю дистанцию. И больше склоняюсь, что Topuria победит.
Ну а сам по Topuria хотел, потому что рано или поздно встретятся.
Много разговоров, много обсуждений по этому бою. Но и сам Topuria знает, и его команда знает, почему в White House не получился бой Topuria против Makhachev.
Dana White reveals Khamzat Chimaev is asking for the Sean Strickland rematch, but he's unsure what they're going to do yet.
Khamzat right now is asking for the rematch with Strickland. That's what he wants. We don't know what we're going to do yet.
So you make that decision at some point?
Yeah.
You'll just, okay.
Yeah, what I want to do
does Strickland want it?
Strickland will fight anybody.
Yeah.
Ilia Topuria's wife Georgina has responded to Joe Rogan falling for an AI-generated photo of her that was circulating online. If you missed it, months ago Joe discussed Ilia and his wife divorcing on his podcast. During the conversation, Rogan also brought up the viral photo of Georgina with a rapper, but in reality the person in the image was actually her brother.
Well, she's taking photos with rappers and yeah, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah, you know how they do it? They try to steal your soul.
Jesus. Put a knife right in your spirit.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, hell has no fury like a woman scorned.
Well, hopefully that helps him think he made the right call then, I guess.
I guess, but does that help? This is the mother of your children, and this lady is a monster. And
Georgina hosted a Q&A on Instagram yesterday. This user writes, after all you've been through, have you found peace? And if so, what has been the hardest part? Georgina included this photo and wrote, to experience how a group of people wanted to change the narrative, even using a picture of my brother and trying to portray an image of me that does not exist. This caused a lot of harassment, hate, and even people threatening to kill me and my daughter. And that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to TJ Dillashaw claiming that Khamzat Chimaev almost died while cutting weight for UFC 328. The first one's from Bruce Bowles. It says, if cutting weight made you lose the fight, then start cutting weight earlier, 3 or 4 months early, or fight in another division. The second one's from some chick into chat. It says, I don't know who's making more excuses for Khamzat, him or his fan base. And the final one's from JMM947. It says, Champ should be able to make weight. If you want to be featured in our next video, all you have to do is drop a comment down below. Also, be sure to check out our latest video essay on why MMA fans are turning on Dana White. It's on screen right now. And as always, thanks for watching.